Use code DESTROYER10 on mypire.com to get 10% off your purchase. What's up, guys? I'm Destroyer, and welcome back to another iteration of 2 Cents Tuesday. This is going to be an analysis of the Rainbow Six and video game world. Most of the ideas that I will be talking about come from the Rainbow Six Reddit and my viewers. So without further ado, let's get into the pondering. The first question for today is, should there be MMR restrictions on unranked? So the way that ranked playlist works in Rainbow Six Siege is you have to be within 1,000 MMR in order to play with other players in ranked. The question is, should that same system be implemented into the unranked playlist? In my opinion, I believe yes, that's how it should be done. Because right now, when I want to go play unranked, I want to have the same experience that I get in ranked, just without having to worry about losing or winning MMR. And the reason that I want this is because I still want that competitive experience. Right now, when I go and try and play unranked, I'm Plat 2, Plat 3 right about now, but I always end up playing against bronzes, coppers, and silver 5s, and it's almost just like playing a different version of casual or quick match as it's now called. What I want is the exact same experience I get in ranked, just a little bit more relaxed. Now, the argument against this would be yes, this is a more relaxed version of ranked, so there doesn't need to be that 1,000 MMR difference. However, maybe they should make a different version. There should be two versions of unranked, where there is the restriction and maybe there isn't. Though I think that might create large queue times, so that might not be a viable idea either. Overall, in my opinion, I think that yes, there should be restrictions in unranked so people can go and have a competitive experience, but not have to play unranked. I know people that just get their rank that they desired at the end of the season, whether that's gold, plat, diamond, even champion, and they just stop playing ranked. But they still want to have that competitive experience, so that makes them go on to Smurf accounts. Unranked should be the other option for them in case they want that competitive experience, but they don't want to drop all the way down to a different rank to the point where their KD is low or things like that. So overall, yes, I think that they should implement this into the unranked playlist. The next topic that we're going to be talking about is Doc and his Acog. So, a few weeks ago, there was a leak, or a supposed leak, that came out saying that Doc and Rook would be losing their Acogs. This rumor was proved to be untrue, but it did still leave us with a question, does Ubisoft need to take away Doc's Acog? In my opinion, I believe that he is in a good place with his Acog. The reason that people and Ubisoft maybe want to take away Doc's Acog is because right now, Doc with the MP5 Acog is the best spawn peeker in the game. Before, they removed Jaeger's Acog, and he was the number one spawn peeker. He would just peek, you would get destroyed by him every time. Now it's Doc with the MP5. The reason it's so good is because it has very low recoil, and it has the Acog and a pretty fast fire rate. So you can get some pretty cheeky headshots from the start of the game, get some players out, get it going with a 5v4 or 5v3 right from the bat. In my opinion, though, taking away his Acog is not the right choice, because every time that Ubisoft might take away an Acog from one defensive operator, another defensive operator is just going to step up with an Acog and take his place. As soon as they take away Doc's Acog, maybe Echo will be the next spawn peeker. If they take him away, you never know. They're going to add another operator that might have an Acog available to them, and they'll be the spawn peeker. So taking away Acogs from defensive operators to diminish spawn peeking is not really a viable option. There are other choices that they could do, but if they take away Doc's Acog, he's just going to go down to the bottom of the pick rate. Nobody's going to play with him because his gadget is very good, don't get me wrong. Giving people 75 health when they're down, giving people an extra 40 health when they're up, very, very powerful. But if he doesn't have a gun to back him up, nobody's going to play with him. They're going to go to operators like Maestro, Mira, Jaeger, Bandit, all these operators that have guns and gadgets that really contribute. So overall, I think that they should not take away Doc's Acog. He's in a good place in my opinion, and the opinions of many other Rainbow Six players. To continue on the theme of optics, the next topic has to do with the Russian optics in Rainbow Six Siege. in case you didn't know, the Russian operators in the game, so Fuse, Glaz, Kapkan, and Tachanka, have different optics available to them than the other NATO optics, as they're called in the game, that the rest of the operators in the game have. Many people think that Ubisoft should just remove these Russian optics from the game and give them the same optics that everybody else in the game has. I fully agree with this. I think that right now, the reason that Russian operators tend to stick to the bottom of the board is because, in terms of pick rate, is because they have different optics available to them, and it really is a change in play style when you're really accustomed to playing with Acog or Holo to just go on and switch to a different optic. Because with every operator, they all have the same exact optics, but then as soon as you switch over to Tachanka or Fuse or Kapkan or Glaz, you have a different experience playing with them. Some people enjoy this, but many people do not like this, and I agree with them because they're not very balanced. They don't work as well as the other operators, and this could be one of the driving reasons that nobody plays the Russian operators. Tachanka has his own issues, and that's going to be addressed with his full rework coming later in year 5. But if they just keep giving the operators on the Russian side the same optics, nobody's going to want to play with them. So I think that in the technical test servers, they should remove these optics just to see how people play with them, what people think about them. Because I've seen in the past, Ubisoft has started to do this where they listen to people, they implement into the technical test server, they put out surveys to see what people think. And I think that if Ubisoft does this and people really do like the NATO optics rather than the Russian operators, then I think that they should just go forward and remove them from the game. It'll make it a lot more of a competitive experience, especially with these new skins coming out for attachments coming in the new update of Steel Wave. I think that this is the move to go. While they're starting to address optics, they should address this issue right now, send out a survey, send out a new update in technical test server, see what people think about it, and then go on from there. The final topic that we're going to be talking today is, how do you feel about a potential new DLC operator that has access to the R4C? So, the R4C is one of the primary weapons that Ash gets, and it's the most used weapon that Ash uses. The other G36C is not very used, but it does exist. Most people tend to go with the R4C. So, what do I think about them adding a new operator with this gun into the game? I think, yes, they can do this, but it does need to be balanced correctly with the gadget. Right now, Ash is the authority on rushing onto the objective, wiping everybody out, and winning the game from there. So every time there's a rush, it's mostly an Ash, and that's because of her gadget and the R4C. So if Ubisoft just adds another 3-speed 1-armor operator with the R4C, imagine having 2 Ashes running onto the objective. It would be pretty unstoppable and pretty unbalanced. So if they were to give a new operator the R4C, I believe that they can do either one of two things. One, make it a 2-2 operator, 2 armor, 2 speed. Give them a decent gadget, but not as good as Ash. And they'll play more of a supportive role, such as Thermite. That's one option. The other option is, which many people I believe would support, is make the new operator 3 armor, 1 speed, and give them R4C Acog. Many people have been asking for this. They wanted it back ever since they've taken it away from Ash. And I think that if they make the operator 3 armor, 1 speed, I don't see why they can't do this. Because if you have a gun like Fuse, the AK-12, he's 3 armor, 1 speed. He's perfectly able to not rush the objective. He's balanced with an Acog, even though it's the Russian Acog. He is able to use it fairly balanced. So I think Ubisoft could do this. I think players would be very happy to see the R4C with another operator. The closest gun to the R4C right now is Maverick's M4, but it's still not as good as the R4C in many people's eyes. So yeah, I think they could do this. They just need to be walking on a very, very thin line between making the operator overpowered and making the operator underpowered. Just because you give an operator the R4C, if their gadget does nothing, then there's no point in adding them into the game in the first place. So yeah, I think that they should add another operator with the R4C. Well, guys, that's all for this iteration of 2 Cents Tuesday. Again, if you have any ideas that you want me to talk about in my videos, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and goodbye.